What's going on, everybody? C4 here. Welcome back to the channel, and today we are here for a new College Football Revamped NCAA 14 rebuild with the Cincinnati Bearcats. It's going to be a 5-year rebuild, and I think we should have a good opportunity. Maybe earlier than later on becoming, I'm not going to say national championship. Every rebuild, the end goal is national championship. But I think we're going to make Cincinnati, right now they're a 3-star program. I think we can truly make them into a special program. I think that actually could happen in real life. You were saying C4, that new EA Sports college football game's coming out this year. And the rules for you picking your main team, you can't go cupcake because everyone's going to be going cupcake. And you can't go all-star team because no one wants to see it. You have to go kind of middle park, take a team that's around that, hovering around the bubble of being really, really good. And can you take them over the edge? And I think my pick would be Cincinnati. I mean, we start with the coaching staff. Very, very good coaching staff. Luke Fickell. I don't know why the big teams haven't been backing up the Brinks truck to get him to leave Cincinnati. I don't think he has any intentions. I don't know if he feels like he wants to leave Cincinnati whatsoever, which is awesome. But he is he's probably a top 10 coach in all college football right now, coaching at Cincinnati. His defensive coordinator, Marcus Freeman, is outstanding. Just Cincinnati's defense is so damn good, man. Very good. They're very good at finding and developing players as well. It's not just like, they're a gimmicky defense that's really the equivalent of the like a military academy school or something like that, right? Where it's just awkward and they can be effective. Like Cincinnati has a good defense and they've developed the shit out of a bunch of 2 and 3-star players to put them in the NFL. So I'm a big fan of the Cincinnati program. They have blessed my Philadelphia Eagles with some of my favorite players. Jason Kelsey, Trent Cole, just to name 2. And I think we've had a couple others that I'm probably missing. I think Connor Barwin was another guy from Cincinnati. I could be wrong on that one. But and then you go from that, where it's nice program, obviously second fiddle to Ohio State in the state of Ohio. Good coaching staff and the squad, man. This might be a rebuild that we're going to be better sooner than later, unfortunately. I do think maybe our peak could be next season, but it's a really good team. At quarterback, we have Desmond Ridder, who might be the best quarterback you're not really thinking about for that 2022 NFL draft class. Everyone's thinking about Sam Howell from North Carolina, Spencer Rattler from Oklahoma, maybe Slovis from USC, and a couple other guys sprinkled around in there. But I don't think enough is going to put on Desmond Ridder. 6'4", 215, legit dual threat, nice arm. I think he's going to be one of the more interesting quarterbacks now that he is returning for the 2021 college football season. So next year, definitely a guy to pay attention to. At running back, we have Jared Doakes, who's 92 overall. Probably, I don't know, he might get drafted late day 3 in the upcoming draft, but he's nice. Depth right now, that's probably the weakness of the Cincinnati team, is that we don't have a lot of depth, but we do have a lot of guys at the bottom of the roster that are in the 70s that are freshmen and sophomores. So we're not going to be completely reliant on our recruiting classes, but I'll show you that in just a second, because our recruiting class was surprisingly impressive, at least for what we could get on our short list. At wide receiver, I would argue this might be the weakest group. And that's just saying that we don't have anyone that's crazy. Michael Young Jr. is the strength, the all-star of this group, 89 overall, but he's not super fast. He's just a technician. We have Pierce, 84, Jackson, 84, 81 for Blue Smith. Awesome name, but it's not like we have any prolific, super good, proven wide receivers, because the best receiving threat is Josh Wiley. Wiley. We'll go Wiley. I can't remember. I watched 2 or 3 Cincinnati games last year. And either way, this guy was goddamn impressive. This guy could be, you think of, it was Brent Selleck, Cincinnati too for the Eagles. But you think Travis Kelce, this guy here is going to be the next great Cincinnati tight end prospect in the NFL. He's very good. He seemed like more often than not in games that I was watching, he was the go-to target for Desmond Ridder. And this guy's a beast, man. 6'6", really good athlete, and he's only a redshirt sophomore. So we're going to try and hope to God that we can keep him till he's a senior and have a lot of production from that tight end spot. Offensive line, James Hudson, transfer, I believe, from Michigan. I think he was a defensive lineman or something like that. But he's an 89 overall left tackle. We have the rest of the O-line's not amazing, not bad. I mean, when you understand that we're a 3-star program, the offensive line kind of makes some sense. On the defensive side is where it gets disgusting. Myjai Sanders. What's going on, everybody? C4 here. Welcome back to the channel, and today we are here for a new episode of the College Football Revamped NCAA 14 Rebuild Series. Today we're with the Cincinnati Bearcats. Now, if you were coming up to me and said, C4, that new EA Sports College Football game was coming out this year, what school would you pick as your main school? And if there were certain parameters that you can't go 1-star, and obviously I can't go 5 or 6-star, the upper echelon schools, I'd kind of go in that middle ground and make a brand new program that's going to take college by storm. I think I might side with Cincinnati. We start with their coaching staff. I think they have one of the best head coaches in all of college football. I think he's a top 10 coach in all of college football. That's Luke Fickell, and it seems like some of the big programs have been trying to lure him away, and he's fine staying at Cincinnati. I don't know if he's waiting for, I don't know. Is he waiting for, Ryan Day to get fired to take over a house? I couldn't tell you, but the longer he's at Cincinnati, the more that these guys are going to continue to be a very legitimate program. Marcus Freeman's an outstanding defensive coordinator. I think that's the most impressive thing. I think when you look at Cincinnati, the fact that they are churning out, they're an underrated NFL feeder school. There's a lot of guys that come through Cincinnati that end up going on, having great careers in the NFL. Obviously, the Kelsey brothers, Travis and Jason. But, me for the Eagles, I could be wrong, but I'm thinking, Brent Selleck, I think, went to Cincinnati. Trent Cole went to Cincinnati. I feel like I'm missing someone else in there as well. Jason Kelsey, obviously. But either way, I'm really, really impressed with the Cincinnati program. And another thing, their defense is outstanding. It's one of the best defenses consistently over the last 2-3 years in college football. And it's not only it's a gimmicky defense, where it's you kind of view it like a military academy offense, where it's the wishbone and all that bullshit. It's not. It's just a very good defense and a very good coaching staff in developing a bunch of 2- and 3-star players into future NFL talent. So very impressive coaching staff. And then when you look at the roster, this is going to be a team that we may peak. Year 1, year 2, this is probably going to be our best shot at winning a national championship. You look at quarterback, we have Desmond Ridder, the redshirt junior, 90 overall. Maybe the most, I'm not going to say most slept on, but when you're talking about the top quarterbacks for the 2022 NFL draft, people are going right away to Spencer Rattler from Oklahoma or Sam Howell from North Carolina. I think Desmond Ridder, there's really, JT Daniels is really good, and Slovis from USC, and all these different guys. But I think Desmond Ridder's a guy, sleeper, 6'4", 215, dual threat quarterback, good arm. And I don't know, man, we're just going to wait and see. I'm glad that he went back to school because I think he definitely has the makings. If he puts up a stellar campaign next year with Cincinnati, could be a first-round pick, maybe more so on the later side, but still a first-round pick nonetheless from Cincinnati. What? Running back, we have Jared Doakes, solid, 92 overall, entered the draft this year. Probably maybe a day 3 selection or something like that. But for our rebuild, 92 overall, we can absolutely work with that. Wide receiver group, no prolific wide receiver in real life. Arguably, this might be one of the more, whelming positional groups on the Cincinnati team. But, we got an 89 overall here in Michael Young Jr., 84s for Pearson Jackson. So we got a dude named Blue Smith. That's awesome. At tight end, though, this is the go-to guy. Josh Wiley, this redshirt sophomore. I hope we can have him until he's a senior. He's outstanding. I'm not going to say he's going to be this reincarnation of Travis Kelce, kind of different style players. But in terms of impactful Cincinnati tight ends that are going to go on and do things in the NFL, definitely keep an eye on him. He stood out in the Georgia game. I think I watched 4 Cincy games last year, and every single one. I think he missed one due to injury, or he got knocked out or something like that. But he was the go-to guy. Very, very impressive. And he's 100% going to be an NFL starting tight end at some point. Very special, and he's going to be our go-to target this year and in the future years in this reboot. He's our guy. 93 overall as a redshirt sophomore. That's outstanding. Offensive line, we have James Hudson, who I think, don't quote me on this, wasn't he a transfer from Michigan? A D lineman at Michigan, flipped to the O-line. Either way, he's another guy getting a lot of clout, a lot of hype as we enter up into the 2021 NFL draft. He's a guy that could be considered definitely, some people have him as a top 10 offensive tackle in this class. I think I have him 13 in my position rank. Either way, very talented player, 89 overall. The rest of the O-line, though, is not great. We got a sophomore, junior, and senior. It is what it is. When you look at our offensive line, you're yeah, that's probably the offensive line of a 3-star program. Definitely an area we want to get better at. Flip through the defense, Myjai Sanders is unreal, man. Trent Cole. Talking about Trent Cole, one of my favorite Eagles, the Hunter. One of my most favorite underrated Eagles of all time. Sanders, very good. Some people thought he would declare this year, return to Cincinnati because they know they're going to be doing big and bad things in a good way in the 2021 college football season. But he is going to be a guy probably second-round pick. Would be shocked if he makes it to the second round. Next year's draft could potentially slip into the first. Very good. Very, very good pass rusher. Ponder's not too bad on the other side. Inside, you got Marcus Brown, 86 and 82, Curtis Brooks. Linebacking core, Darian Beavers, 89. Middle linebacker, Dublanco, 82. And Jarrell White, 89 overall. So we have some great experienced players in our linebacking core. Flip to the secondary. This is where it gets filthy. Ahmad Gardner, the true sophomore, 6'2", ball hawk, already a 95 over. These aren't my ratings. These are the ratings that they just had. They're so good. You have Kobe Bryant. Yes, it's almost like that other guy. You know, the legendary R.I.P. Mach Mamba. Let's go. He's 91. This Bush guy was actually one of the more impressive players in that Georgia game. I was actually kind of shocked to see he only had a 78, but he's a redshirt sophomore. We're going to have an opportunity. He's a good hitter. Really, really good tackling safety. Could be a safety. Really good tackling corner, sorry. So maybe perfect for the slot for our team. Well, the safeties are filthy. Absolutely the best safety tandems in college football. James Wiggins, 91 overall, and we got Derek Forrest, 90. And you also have Hicks, who's going to be a draftable player in 2021. Like, these guys are outstanding. I don't think there was a better safety tandem. I mean, maybe you can make a valid argument. I could say, yes, you were right with that. But off the top of my head, I can't think of a better 1-2 punch at safety in all of college football last year than Forrest and James Wiggins. I think both these guys are going to be day 2 picks in the upcoming 2021 NFL Draft. Kicker is kind of the shit, 66. Punter's pretty good. James Smith, be more generic with an 86 overall. But ultimately, you could see a lot of juniors. So I'm kind of feeling that, this year, next year, that's going to be the big year. So we're going to make some moves with Cincinnati. It's going to happen within these 2-year periods with Desmond Ridder at quarterback. But if it doesn't, then we're going to have to just flex our rebuild muscles and try and do it within a 5-year period. Lastly, before we jump into this first season, I want to show you the recruiting board. And kind of surprising. I mean, we're using generic players, but there's a lot of 4-stars that had Cincinnati high. Like, we got Jermaine. Oh, I hate having the auto thing on. I always got to turn that off. We have Jermaine Bush, who's a 4-star, number 5 quarterback. And obviously, we're trailing Ohio State here. But we got a legit shot at getting a 4-star quarterback. Hopefully, they don't pull too far ahead. We have, we're in. Look at this 5-star tight end. I guess if maybe you got like Travis Kelce slid into his DMs and told him to go to Cincinnati. A 5-star tight end coming to Cincinnati is goddamn unheard of. We have a scouted 80 overall offensive tackle from JUCO. Could bring him back in. Like, I was shocked. 4-star guard at the kind of players already. Early days with Cincinnati. It's not like we're 2-3 years in and we've won a bunch of games. Early days, right out the box, Cincinnati able to recruit a bunch of 4- and 5-star guys. At least have opportunities to pull the trigger and get some of these guys here. Another 4-star athlete. We're leading a bunch of these athletes. JUCO players as well want to come to Cincinnati because they know that this program is going to be special, year 1, year 2. So I'm very excited. Everything about the beginning of this rebuild. Hopefully we get the results we need to be competitive year 1 and year 2. At the end of the season, almost all good news. We won the American outright, which was expected, except, and unfortunately, we went undefeated. We're number 2 ranked, which is exceptional, even though in real life, even if Cincinnati went 12-0, most likely would be probably in the top 5 range, kind of like where they were at this year. We lost out on our top quarterback recruit. We had that 5-star. I made a push here late to get a 4-star guy just outside the top 10, but the 5-star QB went. I don't know why. They should always keep them here. Your L's should stay on your board. But either way, we scouted him. He was an 80 overall, and he went to Ohio State over Ohio. So I'm, you go to us, you go to Ohio State over Cincinnati. It's fine. Just know. I hope we see you down the line. I hope Ohio State's good enough that we can run into them at a later point. This is still our biggest guy that we're waiting to get here, and that's Hill. Hill and Myers, we've been first place from them for a while. And I like the fact that it is going, I guess, to the offseason because I'm going to be able to dump out of, I don't know what's going to be, 10,000, 15,000 points in this offseason. They're both going into these guys. Everyone else that's on the board outside of them are just players that I just had really low, week 8, week 9, low commitments. And I was like, hey, let's see what we can do. I got a 4-star Ricky Long here at defensive end. He looks like he could be pretty goddamn imposing. And we walked away, man. I'm pumped that we're able to land him. Rest of our recruiting class, I got every one of our targets outside of the QB. Unfortunately, that 5-star tight end did not test particularly well in the scouting. -7, which is unfortunate. But still, for the program, the optics of a 5-star, I'm very happy with that. And we also got a bunch of 4-stars. And we got the 80 overall JUCO tackle who's going to play sooner than later. So I'm very happy with how our recruiting has gone, even though we missed the big fish at the quarterback spot. You know what would make that better? If Desmond Ridder doesn't declare and we have another year Desmond Ridder. I will take that. For Fickell, we do have an upgrade here, which clearly we're going to have to continue to spend. That's up the points here. We got to spend on the recruiting. We got to find a way to be able to compete with the Ohio States. And we're only going to be able to do that by pumping points up into our recruiting. So we won outright. I don't know, because we don't have a championship game, if that's going to mess us in the grand scheme of things. Because right now, us and Clemson are undefeated. There's a 2-loss Auburn at 3. So if Auburn can beat Florida in the SEC championship, will that be enough to knock off Cincinnati? In real life, probably. Obviously there's no college football playoff. There is a college football playoff mod for this, except I'm not super sure how to use it yet. I might look into that if that's something you guys want to see. Obviously, it sounds pretty cool, but I haven't done a lot of research into like the practicality of it. But we're still sitting here at 2, and it's going to be interesting to see. We have to wait and see what happens in that SEC championship. For regular season statistics, Desmond Ridder, 2,800 yards, 20 touchdowns, 3 picks. Thought we'd be a little bit more explosive. That then again, our wide receivers aren't amazing. 1,300 yards, 15 touchdowns for Doakes. Ford had 11. Ridder, 590 and 8. So the dual threat ability was dangerous. They're over 1,000 yards, just over 1,000 for Michael Young. Wiley at tight end. What? Huh? That doesn't seem right. I don't have injuries on. What is going on there? Like, this is supposed to be like, let's go to our depth chart. There's no way he's not our starter. Wow, okay. At least I don't think I have injuries on. I'm pretty sure. What? Okay. Anyways, defensively, Darrell Waite led the team, 58 tackles. We had 5.5 sacks. Majay Sanders, which is very good to go along with 15 TFLs, 3 picks. Ahmad Gardner, the sophomore. Wiggins with 2 picks. Probably, I was hoping maybe a little bit better interception numbers, but that ultimately isn't too bad. Looking at the Heisman, I will do that at the end. Let's just figure out, boys, if we're going to the Natty or not in year 1. So Clemson was the outright number 1 team, and ETN is the Heisman Trophy winner. Trevor Lawrence down there as well, making the short list. And we did it, yes! Anticlimactic, sure. You see a Cincinnati rebuild, you're probably like, hey, I want to see a nice grind on that way to the top. As Florida actually beat Auburn, that's kind of what probably messed things up here. But hey, 3-star program. It is what it is. It's not, I can only control the fact that we played our schedule. We won. It wasn't the hardest schedule. But, everyone else kind of sucked. We played some good schools. Obviously we weren't playing powerhouses, but Purdue's legit. Illinois is legit. Memphis was ranked. SMU can beat you. Houston, we got Louisville. Like, those are solid teams. And we were able to run the gauntlet. We ran the gauntlet. You could only play who's in front of you. And, this is the put up or shut up. Doesn't really matter if we it kind of does, but doesn't ultimately matter if we make the national championship game, if we're going to end up getting absolutely shit kicked by Clemson. But because it's really, I feel like we're on a 2-year bubble, we'll just sim the moments, and we'll see if the Cincinnati can beat Clemson outright. Can the team that we have on our roster, within the game's algorithm, beat Clemson? If not, because we still have, hopefully, obviously this is a big gamble, especially if someone like Desmond Ridder declares for the NFL draft and it is over. We let them go if they're underclassmen and they're projected to go rounds 1, 2, or 3. And if that happens for Ridder, it could be a gamble not playing this. But I feel like just because it's year 1, if we're going to win the national championship, it's going to be because of the sim. It's not going to be because I'm hopping in and throwing in bombs. So without further ado, what's the tail of the tape here? Corso's taken Cincinnati. We actually have Clemson beat on the defensive side of it. Both A-rated programs. Our performance this year, obviously, strength of schedule. We went up against easier opponents, but again, you only play who you can play. Who's Clemson beat? They beat Georgia, Miami. I would argue their schedule's almost as easy as ours. That's not. Yes, you have 2 big wins, but Maryland, Virginia, Georgia Tech, South Carolina's not bad. Wake Forest, North Carolina State. But for the most part, if you're grading the schedules, when you start your NCAA franchises, it gives you what your strength of schedule is. If ours is like a B-, I would say theirs is still in the B territory. It's It's not like they ran the gauntlet and knocked off the premier teams in college football. So this is absolutely a fair national championship game. Let's go in and shock the world. I'll say right now, as we're loading this up, that's disgusting. I've never seen a defense statistically throughout the year that good. First in points, first in yards, second in passing yards against, first in rushing yards against. The last rebuild we did was Oregon in our national championship game. The defense went up against a Michigan offense that was scoring almost 50 points a game, and we held them to like under 100 total yards. That performance in that single game was the best rebuild sim performance I've seen, but the best season defense sim performance, absolutely. What the Cincinnati Bearcats did, that's outstanding. Wiggins, Majay Sanders, Derrick Forrest, the linebackers there. Just unbelievable. And is Luke Fickell gonna find a way to put Cincinnati on the map? Let's go. We're gonna go tails. We're gonna kick the ball because we want our defense to get out there first, shut down Clemson, kill all their hopes and dreams. And then we're going to let Desmond Ridder do the damn thing on the offensive side of the ball. So let's get into it. Oh, I didn't mean to do that, but we'll watch this as we continue to hype this up, and hopefully it's not a kick return for a touchdown. It's a touchback. What a boot by the 66 overall kicker. Weak link puts it through the damn end zone, which is exactly what we're looking for. Let's go to the sim here. Whew! Let's go to the end of the quarter. First quarter, we got a sack on Trevor Lawrence. ETN, the Heisman Trophy winner, looking pretty good, but we end the first quarter on the 12 of Clemson, looking like we're going to try to score, which we do. Jared Doakes gets in for the touchdown. ETN scores a touchdown. Interception! Oh my God, going back and forth, but the big play there. Oh no! Special teams, touchdown, Cincinnati. Dying moments. Last play of the first half. An 81 punt return from McClelland for Cincinnati to tie this up. 21. Fuck, this is intense. This is, I will be, you like to hype it up. You like to milk it for this is, like, my heart is pumping. This is like final team left in goddamn war zone. Let's go, baby. First drive, not good. 3 and out, 84-yard touchdown by ETN. You can't let that happen. Interception of Trevor Lawrence. We had a punt, couldn't capitalize on the interception. Clemson defense is playing us real tough here, man. It's just, man, that 84-yard touchdown. Both teams, 3 and out, and then you get that big-time play by the Heisman Trophy winner, ETN. You know what? Better than expected. I bet you some, even though with their defensive number, I thought, it was going to be really, really one-sided. And the fact that it didn't really pull ahead till the fourth quarter, that's just the difference. They got a bunch of NFL guys, and our guys are trying to be NFL guys. Looking at the stats, Ridder, not a great game either. Like that, that's tough. I actually think that the biggest tail of the tape from this game is how well the Clemson defense played. Weren't really considering that. We know Trevor Lawrence, ETN, all those guys on offense, and their defense, exceptional defense. But we didn't talk about. You didn't look like the optics didn't look like Clemson's defense was going to be the deciding factor, but they absolutely shut down Desmond Ridder. We didn't have any explosive plays on the offensive side of the ball. Defensive side of the ball, they did their job. We got a sack there. Marcus Brown, interception, Jarrell White. But ultimately, Clemson just made more plays than us. But hopefully this is a kick in the ass that some of those underclassmen, they're going to want to return and run this one back in the 2021 season. A little bit of an awards here, though. Jared Doakes broke the single-season rushing yards record held for quite some time, almost 20 years, by DeMarco McCleskey. So congrats to you, sir. As we go to the offseason, sad and unfortunate, we actually lost our DC, which, makes sense. You have a year like that, he's probably gone off being a head coach somewhere. So that's a little bit of door. Also a negative thing, looking at our players leaving. Good news, like Ridder and those guys, like all the underclassmen that we thought were going to go, stayed. Unfortunately, Kobe Bryant, though, our second top corner, is going, and it's that third round. That is that cutoff point where I was like, if you go 1, 2, or 3, I'm going to let you go. Even though I would love to have him return, I don't think it's a good decision because I want to break the rule. I'm going to see this. If I could guarantee the national, because that's what we're doing. If I can guarantee this and he comes back, because it's that third, that's that cutoff. It's not like he's a first rounder or second rounder, and he comes back. Okay, I'm bending the rules slightly because I think we might be able to do this. We might be able to do this next season and actually come through and not lose to Clemson. That's huge, man. Everything about this rebuild's been on point. This is the offseason recruiting, and I really like the big ones were AJ Hill at guard, Hughes at quarterback, Long at defensive end. And Long and Hughes were like the two guys we didn't even start recruiting them till like week 8, week 9. I'm happy with it, man. We missed out on Myers, the guy that we started from the very beginning of the recruiting process. Went to Toledo. That's all you need to say. Like, there must be some family ties there. But we ended up signing a top 25 class, the top class in the conference. So we are clearly ready to run this one back. Where did we actually finish? 25. 19. 1 5-star, 5 4-star, 9 3-stars. Those 2 stars most likely will be getting cut. We upped the prestige of the program from a 3-star to a 4-star program. Doing God's work here for those of you that swing that way. It's unfortunate we missed out on Myers. Would have been a good get for sure, but as you can see, Toledo probably spent all of their offseason budget, and we just got stretched too thin. But we still walk away with a fringe top 10 quarterback in the class. We get a top 10 guard, which is going to be almost a plug-and-play starter. That is an exceptional class on top of the 5. You know, even though the rating sucks, still landed a 5-star tight end. Very happy with this. So as you know, about year 2, we start number 7, which is a pretty solid starting point. Looking at our schedule ahead, Boise State, Colorado State. Again, it's nothing that's going to be overwhelming, but you know, there's definitely an uptick. The strength of the schedule went up a little bit. Central Florida's in there. Louisville, as always. Memphis is tough, but ultimately very realistic that we can run the gauntlet. We'll start with the recruiting because it's right here. Going for a small quality over quantity class. We got 12 recruits. And they're big dogs. We got the number 1 running back, Brian Thurman. We're in his just outside of his top 5, so we're going to go balls to the wall and try to get him locked up. We got a 5-star, number 5 wide receiver, and right now we're right at the top with him, so we're going to go 500 there, 500 on a 75 tackle, 350. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to shave off 50 there. This is you know, we got to go all in on that wide receiver. That guy's a guy that can make plays day one. We got some guards, 4-star DE. 4-star outside linebacker that we're trailing Georgia Tech and Penn State. Got a 78 middle linebacker. This one's tough, but we absolutely need a middle linebacker. It's one of our team needs. So we need to try to go balls to the wall there. And Gutierrez here, just outside of his top 5. But we scouted him. This guy looks insane. Looks like he's going to be a hell of a safety. 94 speed, 92 acceleration, 88 pursuit, 85 zone coverage. Right out the gate, dude looks like an absolute beast. And the schools ahead of us aren't massive schools, so we should feel a good chance that hopefully the dust settles and starts to slide in our direction for some of these recruits, and we can get an all-timer class so that maybe, you know, we're thinking that's going to be all doom and gloom once Desmond leaves after this season. But if we can pile together last year's really good recruiting class and do it again this year, 3, 4, and 5, we could be a sleeper program. We could finally arrive, if you will, and not be reliant on our original strength of talent on the roster. But looking at that roster, Ritter's up to a 97. And I Prater, we redshirted him. He's up to an 81. It's like, we're going to have a nice quarterback for the remainder of this rebuild in Evan Prater, or even Hughes, whoever develops the faster. Hughes was our top quarterback from the recruiting class last year. We have Ford who had 11 rushing touchdowns last season. He's up to an 87. McClellan had that huge punt return in the Natty game against Clemson. He's an 86, so I like that 1-2 punch. Young return, he's a 97 overall wide receiver. We have 93 and 91 for Smith and Jackson as well. So you saw a lot of guys re-up, wanting to come back, go all in. Wiley at tight end, a perfect 99. Hopefully he gets a lot more involved with the offense. I'm going to auto reorder this. In reality, I'm going to also go to make Wiley one of our wide receivers here. Maybe that helps him out a little bit. Like, in reality, he should be like our wide receiver 1, 2. I don't know how much that's going to skew some of the numbers, but he's got to be a little bit better than last year. We had 83, 79, 89, 82, and 80 across the O-line. So slightly better than what it was last season. Even though we don't have Hudson. Sanders at defensive ends, a 97 overall. Van's an 86. 87 for Curtis Brooks in the center of that defense. Linebacking core, Beavers 92. 86 for DeBlanco. An 80 overall for the redshirt freshman, Daheem Thomas. So expecting there a lot of growth, a lot of development. Ahmad Gardner's a 98. Brian, who we're able to convince to return in hopes of a national championship. He's an 96. And Harris here at 83. I moved Bush from corner to safety, where he's now an 86, and we have Javon Hicks, who's a 92. This is a very good roster. Absolutely will be floored if we don't run this gauntlet yet again, go undefeated, and punch our ticket to the national championship. Anything less is a complete and utter failure and misuse of resources with the talent and coaching staff we have on this team. Round 2. First checkpoint off that box. American Championship. It's locked and loaded. Undefeated. As expected. Well, not as... yeah, I will actually go as far as to say it was expected for us to get undefeated yet again. Let's up the recruiting points. Our D-line coach, sure, obviously you're not the same. But hey, I'm glad that the change of coaches didn't have the players suffering on field. As we go 12-0. Let's look at the top 25 polls. Is it as convincing 12-0 as it was last year? And I would love to run it back with Clemson, but it's actually my Florida Gators with a massive SEC championship game against Auburn this week. But I'm not seeing... I mean, maybe, again, because we're undefeated, it's NCAA, we should be able to stay there at number 2. But there's a chance that Miami or Washington wins, and a one loss could leapfrog us because we don't have the outright championship game to help boost our ratings there just a little bit. Let's look at our season stats so far. How do we get this undefeated mark? Desmond Ridder, very good. 2,400 yards, 34 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. He's going to go on to the NFL. Be pretty damn good. Ford, under 1,000 yards. Look, we had 3 runners, including the quarterback, getting close to that 1,000-yard mark. So you just could not stop this rushing attack. 65 catches, 870 yards, 16 touchdowns for Michael Young. Very good. Wiley, still kind of underwhelming, but I don't know, whatever. It is what it is. Defensively, Beavers led the team, 66 tackles. We got sack numbers, a little underwhelming. TFLs look fine. 3 picks. Taj Ward, the weakest link in our secondary, leads interceptions. I guess when everyone else around you is very good, kind of helps you out just a little bit. So let's go, man. Let's sim one more week. Find out if we have another opportunity at this national championship or if we're going to be depressed and hit the bottle for this offseason. For the Heisman, I think any Heisman that doesn't have any of these military academy players, no disrespect, feels just a little bit more realistic. Pierce for Florida is your Heisman Trophy winner. Charbonnet of Michigan. De'Aaron King from Miami. Tank Bigsby from Auburn. Mohamed Ibrahim from Minnesota. And, oh yeah, baby, we get the guy to take on my Florida Gators. Second chance at a national champ. I would say this. If we don't win it this year, it might have to take till year 5. That next crop of guys to be hitting their prime for us to make a run there. Looking at Florida, yet again, Corso is taking us. We have the advantage in almost every category. They are 1 spot higher than us in passing offense and a little bit better in turnover differential. Looking at our schedule compared to theirs, well, we ran the gauntlet, did what we had to do. Boise State, Colorado State, Central Florida, beat number 6 Louisville. That's a very high quality win. Memphis is solid. Like, almost, that's not bad. Let's see Florida. I mean, SEC competition, I suppose, but who's that? Louisiana Lafayette was ranked. They beat them. They beat LSU, who was ranked. They beat Auburn, who was ranked. But, and then you throw in, obviously, the quality of the team. Can't put a number in front of it. Georgia's going to be solid. Florida State won't be too bad. Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi State. It's just the SEC schedule. Happy with it, though. I'm excited. I think we're going to... I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to hop in and play this one or not. We'll see how I feel in the next 30 seconds while this game loads up. I'm kind of leaning towards just taking that front row seat and seeing what this team can do. Let's do it, man. Front row seat. I feel like I don't know if I feel like it would tarnish it if I hopped in and win it. I just want to see if this squad is actually genuinely good enough in a sim to win it. The defense, yet again, elite. First in points, first in yards, first in passing defense. Not, a little off the mark in rushing, still very good. And offensively, 3rd in points, 4th in yards, 7th in rushing yards. They got Khair Elam, Emory Jones at quarterback. I don't know. Let's see how this... I'm nervous. How about this? If there's like a last drive or something like that in the 4th quarter, I'll hop in. If it's one-sided, either way, we'll just take it on the chin or enjoy it. Tails worked last year. It worked again. Let's put our defense out on the field and hopefully suffocate that Florida Gators offense and Emory Jones. Get them out of rhythm. Whew. Let's go into the next quarter. First quarter. Oh, they're going to drive. Ended with a sack. We go downfield, get the first touchdown of the game. We're not giving up big-time plays, but Florida is able, before the end of the first quarter, to tie this one up at 7. Second quarter opens up. 2 3-and-outs. Get a big touchdown for Cincinnati. Feels like it's going to be one of those games. Anything we do, they're going to equal. But we had the last possession And we get the ball to start the second half up 21-14. That was a Desmond Ridder 5-yard touchdown pass to Pierce. Want to get some points. Even a field goal to open up the second half here. Opening drive. Oh, we had to force a punt, but then we force a 3-and-out. Good defense being played here in the third quarter, and we get another touchdown. We are pulling ahead 28-14. Let's go by possession. And that's a turnover on downs for Florida. They're throwing everything they have. It's still not over. We do a 3-and-out. Florida gets a touchdown here. It's going to be interesting. 34-yard touchdown. Emory Jones to the Heisman Trophy winning Damon Pierce. 2 minutes, 32 seconds. Come on. No, no. Okay, $1:44 to go. That was not the drive we were looking for. And it's a fumble. The defense, the Cincinnati all-time defense gets the fumble. We missed the field goal. And there's 52 seconds left. No. We got to come in. I'm not losing this shit. I am not losing it this way. I cannot believe that. Missed field goal, and then with like 30 seconds left, they get the touchdown. However, they settled for a field goal. So if we get a touchdown here, Cincinnati is going to be your Heisman Trophy. Heisman Trophy. Look, I'm all discombobulated. We'll get the first down with Ridder. They're going to be your national champions. Man, Wiley, that's the guy. A is the guy I want to go to as we get instant sacked off the edge. Tackle just got dominated. 2nd and 15. Brenton Cox Jr., the transfer, 5-star, former 5-star recruit for Georgia. Active there. I do think, I'm not going to say we're in 4-down territory. I'm solid at kicking field goals in this. Yes! Yes! Wiley, that's what we do. 99 overall. What is that? Desmond Ridder's like a 97. Oh, and he broke the record. Breaking Gunnar Kiel. That's another name, man. Remember, he was like a super high recruit quarterback. Didn't work out. But just like that, Cincinnati does it. No celebrations. No celebrations. Not one. Don't matter. Doesn't mean it didn't happen. I don't know how I skipped that, but I apparently didn't look at that game from Desmond Ridder. Last year, got dominated by Clemson. Didn't look good. This year, 5 touchdowns, no picks in the national championship game against Florida. Didn't really have to run the ball a whole lot. 145 yards. Michael Young, 2 touchdowns for Blue Smith. You're my boy, Blue. Wiley, 60 yards. Got that game-winning touchdown. You know we were going to use that 6'6" weapon. We got 3 sacks there and a fumble recovery by Curtis Brooks, the defensive tackle. That's epic, man. Fuck, I love playing NCAA 14. Let's go. Cincinnati is your national champions. And as you saw in that game, Desmond Ridder shattered the touchdown record in a single season. Young broke single season receiving touchdown record by 3 there. Happy to have some all-time greats a part of this team. And there goes an all-time class, and hopefully in 2 more years as we get for year 5, we'll have a similar looking roster. But look at that. Ridder, Sanders, Kobe Bryant, and Young all projected in the first round. Beavers, Jackson, and Hicks later on in that draft. I think you could probably, that's probably about it from that class that's going to the NFL, but outstanding. Those guys are legends. So good signing day for us. I don't think our class is going to be, overwhelming 27th, but look at that. How are we 27 with 3? The 3 5-stars should put us into the top 25. I get we didn't sign a huge class. But, look at the work that we did. Cincinnati, we lost Jeremy Bryant, which would have been good because we needed a linebacker. But I'll be able to just kind of flip guys around. We got the number 5 wideout, beating out Penn State, Cam Wright. Got another linebacker here, Reggie Bell. We got that freaky-looking athlete. I don't know what position he's going to play. I think it's some form of safety, maybe corner, potentially. But Gutierrez is a beast. We got a 674 guard there, 75 tackles, 74 DN. Not a heavy class in terms of players, but talent unmatched. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to kind of kick back on recruiting, but I'm going to let the computer do a lot of the recruiting now for the final years, just because most of these guys aren't even going to sniff our roster in terms of starting and impactful, maybe year 5, but even then, I'm not overly worried. But let's look at our depth chart right now as we have trying to live in the shadow and break out from behind the shadow of our national champion winning team last year. Evan Prater is going to be our starting quarterback, sophomore, 85. He's going to be special. We have Ford at running back. He's a 94. Wide receiver, Blue Smith, my boy. 97 overall. Thompson, 88. Wiley returned to school. We have 290-plus tight ends, which is huge. 88, 84, 82, 80, and 84 in the O-line. So again, you could argue the strongest offensive line we've had. Defensively, taking a little bit of a step back. Just so much talent going to the NFL. But Van is a 90 overall D end. Linebacking core, we have Jaheim Thomas, All-American, as a sophomore. In the secondary, Ahmad Garner returned as a senior. He's a 99. Justin Harris is an 89. We have Bush, who's a 91. Special teams is, oh my God, we got the fucking walk-on punter, whatever, because we're not going to be punting the ball a whole lot. Trust this team not to have a whole lot of 3-0s. We start the year opening up at number 3 ranked. See if we can hold that rating throughout the season. So at the end of year 3, another American championship, but that doesn't really get to tell the whole story. Oh, yeah, you know, this is that little bit of a down year, and the fact that this hopefully is our floor, number 11, 9-3, I think I could swallow that pill. Guys, we are going to bounce right back. I'm happy with our squad. Looking at the stats here in year 3 for this down year. Prater, first year ever really playing. 18 touchdowns, 18 picks. He's only going to get better. 1,300, almost 1,400 yards, 10 tutties for Jerome Ford. He's a junior, should be back. Why are we not using our tight end in the sim? Very frustrating. Defensively, Jaheim Thomas, sophomore. 71 tackles, 17 TFLs, 4.5 sacks for Ricky Long, who was one of our top recruits a couple of years ago. Arquan Bush, 5 interceptions from safety, 4 picks for Ahmad Gardner. Happy with those numbers, but, you know, again, it's still just a little bit of a down year. Hopefully we play in a good bowl game, can grab another trophy to put in our trophy case, and then retool, regroup for year 4. So for a bowl game, we're going to the Capital One Orange Bowl against Virginia. I guess a little underwhelming, I suppose. So at the end of the year, Ford finished with the new single-season rushing yards record, and we were able to win a bowl of oranges. Cool. 34-14 wasn't particularly close. Prater 1 touchdown in this game. Also got player of the game somehow. Sure. Still very happy with how we performed. Wiley at least goes on top. Did nothing all year, but chipped in 93 yards and a touchdown as we finished 10-3 in year 3. For our players leaving, nothing too unexpected. All guys that are graduating. Josh Wiley projected to go in the first round, as well as Ahmad Gardner. We got Smith, Taylor, and Malik Van also going on to the NFL. On signing day, which we'll give pretty much all credit to the computer, I just handled the initial board. We came 13th. That's not bad. 2 5-stars, 5 4-stars. So let's get a look here at the creme de la creme from this recruiting class. We got, let's see here, Josh Carter, an athlete. Number 3 athlete, 5-star, 6'5", 210. Probably, I think he's actually a quarterback. We got another 5-star athlete in Kevin Jenkins. We got a 4-star there in Jones. Couple 4-stars, linebacker, running back. Where's that other 5? Thought we had 3 5s. 2 5s maybe? That's all I saw. I'm misreading it. Either way, happy with that recruiting class. So year 4 is here for Cincinnati. We open up number 17, so maybe getting a little bit underrated, a little bit under the radar. Evan Prater up to a 90 overall. We have a 99 running back in Jerome Ford, 97 in Ryan Montgomery, so we can run the ball on absolutely anybody. Jadon Thompson is going to be the top wide receiver 1 in our offense, 95 overall. Big drop off from having 290-plus overall tight ends, but still, I think those guys can get the job done. 78, 85, 88, 80, and 82 on the offensive line, so not too bad. Ricky Long, 84 defensive end. Blake Basevich, 84, 86 D-tackle, and Robert Young. So the D-line is solid. Linebacker core, 83, 82, and 93 for Jaheim Thomas, also an All-American. Very solid. Secondary, not as OP as it's been in the first 3 years of this rebuild, but still no glaring weaknesses in the corner room. Free safety, 81. Strong safety, 87. Not that bad. Can't really get a good prediction for where this team is going to finish, but again, looking at our roster, not a whole lot of seniors. I think that year 5 is going to be that next chance to do something special, but maybe we could surprise here in year 4. Year 4, again, rinse, repeat. We start with the American Championship. I mean, at this point, we're going to be talking about moving, and we went 11-1. Number 3 ranked 11-1, so we're on the outside looking in. Gonna have to hope that the top 2 teams have a title game that they could potentially lose. It's Notre Dame, of course. Oh, okay, we should be ahead of Notre Dame. Most overrated school in like all of college football. We have Washington against 15 UCLA. They are undefeated, so I don't know. Even if they are a 1 loss, maybe we could we need some stuff to fall through for us. But given the fact that this year I was still expecting to be, top 10-ish, and we're 3, kind of happy about that. Very quick scope here of the season stats. Prater, 25 touchdowns, 10 picks, not bad. 1,400 yards, 8 tutties for Ford, 8 and 12 for Montgomery. No dominant receiver, unfortunately. Defensively, Thomas, 83 tackles, 19 TFLs, 4.5 sacks. Outstanding season. Ingle, 5 sacks leading the team, 4 picks for that goddamn freaky athlete we got 2 years ago, Gutierrez. 4 for Shepard, 4 for McDonald, 3 for Dingleberry out here. So we got a chance. We have a chance depending on how the championship games play out. Let's see what happens. Yes! Oh, baby. We fell ass backwards. How? Let's go. UCLA must have lost. They choked. Chip Kelly couldn't get the job done by not playing. Yes, Washington. What? Yeah, they lost. UCLA, good job. Actually, no, blessed Chip Kelly. Thank you very much. All right. Thank God. How dare I? My mistake, Chip Kelly. Outstanding job. We have a chance to go. We're going the daddy again, boys. Number 2, Cincinnati. Underdog from a talent standpoint, but Corso's taking us yet again. Looking at Notre Dame, what they've done to get here. They beat ranked Michigan, USC, ranked Miami, lost to Wake Forest, and now they play us. Looking at our schedule, we lost to Central Florida. That was it. Couple close games, 2 overtime victories against South Florida and SMU. But we're back in the show. Let's fucking go. Familiar. 3rd national championship game appearance in 4 seasons for Cincinnati, which is, I haven't heard much about Ohio State. We might be the premier team in Ohio now. We lose on the coin toss, so we can't send out our defense. It's not the same defense, though. Let's see what happens here. First quarter. Come on, Notre Dame's so overrated. Let's beat them. Notre Dame starts with a touchdown. We get a field goal to get some points on the board. They got Kyron Williams out running back, dude. He's an absolute workhorse. Ugh. We're looking very much like the team that made it to the national championship game without winning our way into the national championship game. 2 field goals in the first half. Bit of a hole, but if our defense can come out strong, we get a couple quick scores. You never know what happens. But it's not. It's just, we're a year ahead. I thought this would be something that we'd be talking about year 5. Year 4, it's nice to be back in the national championship game, playing good, 2 touchdowns in the 4th quarter, a little bit garbage time, underwhelming showcase. But the last time we got beat in a national championship game was when we lost to Clemson, and then the next year came back and kicked some ass. Hopefully the same is on the cards for year number 5. Get a quick look at the stats here. See who did what, who underwhelmed, the quarterback played fine, 280 yards, 1 touchdown, no turnovers, just could not run the ball. For a team that has 2 90-plus running backs, that's kind of been the mantra of our team, is established to run. Notre Dame did an exceptional job of not letting that happen. David Jones Jr. got an interception. Well, let's recollect ourselves, gear up for year 5. Looking at the players leaving, it's bound to happen eventually. Jaden Thompson, first rounder. That's out of the rules. Gotta let him go, do his thing in the NFL versus coming back trying to win another national championship. Ford and Montgomery are a great 1-2 punch at running back. They did absolutely fucking nothing against Notre Dame. They are going. So hopefully, it's not too much of a loss. We can recoup those skill positions and be competitive in year 5, which I'm fully expecting to do. So for our final signing day, again, a lot of this the initial board was handled by me, but the day-to-day throughout the season was handled by the computer, and the computer did an exceptional job. So we had the number 2 recruiting class. Only 1 5-star, kind of built that rating up with the 12 4-star recruits. Well, that's something to put our cap on it. Cincinnati, number 2. Let's go. Here we go, baby. Advancing to the regular season. This is it. Trying to make it 4 national championship game appearances in 5 years. Getting our 2nd victory. This is our final squad. Wondering, if I could get a nice comparison. I wish I had a side-by-side. Where this ranked with our year 2 team with, Pete Ritter and all those guys. But we had George Sims, the junior, 97 overall quarterback, 6'6", 230 with 91 speed. Okay, we got Ethan Wright at running back, 91 overall, and 86 fullback. They're people too. 390 overall wide receivers plus. Cam Wright, Jordan Jones, and Chris Scott. 87 tight end Mike Mills. Sean Smith, 81, 91, 95, 84, and 80 on the O-line. Maybe not the strongest offensive line we had. Definitely not the weakest. Defensive side, we got Ricky Long, 89. Mike Wade and Scott probably going to do a little bit of a rotation there at DN at right spot. Young, 91. D tackle, Gutierrez, 82. Linebacking core, we have Ingram, which is an 84. 86 for David Jones Jr. Had that interception in the Natty last season. And Jaheim Thomas, 98 overall, future first-round pick. Also a preseason All-American. Secondary, we got Anderson, McDonald, and Gutierrez. And Gutierrez is an All-American. This guy's probably one of the best athletes I've ever recruited. He was a 5-star. Safeties, 87 and 79. So we're going with a true freshman and Danny Long there at strong safety. You could survive and endure with that. 92 and 71 on the special teams unit. Everything is lining itself up for the number 14 Cincinnati Bearcats to run the gauntlet and get back to the national championship. God bless our easy schedule. Year 5, let's do this again. We start with the American Championship. 5 straight seasons. Are you kidding me? Undefeated 12-0, we're number 4. We saw last year, though, we can make the national championship game without losing, and all these teams have to play. We need Nebraska, Tennessee, and or California to lose 4 undefeated teams. Has that ever happened? Okay. Quick look at the season stats. Lots of things out of our control, unfortunately. George Sims, 6'6", 9-1 speed, 3,200 yards, 38 touchdowns. No interceptions! Let's go! What a freak, George Sims! Let's go! 1,200 yards, 13 touchdowns. The white running backs coming back. Christian McCaffrey, Toby Gerhard. Well, actually, I think one of the top running back recruits in high school this year. Went to Clemson? He's a white dude. So I put it up. Race doesn't really matter. If you're good football, good football. But me personally, as a white running back, a little bit niche in my time when I was coming to high school. That's always kind of cool to see. Wait a minute. George Sims, 3,100 yards, 38 touchdowns, no picks. And he also had, this is a Heisman winner. 576, 9 touchdowns, and we didn't lose? I didn't think anyone would top Desmond Ridder. And George Sims has done that. This guy's an absolute legend. I'm in love with this guy as a player, okay? Get you guys the other guy. That guy's insane. I wish we had 5 more years to see what that guy can do. No real dominant receiver there. Chris Scott and Jordan Jones, solid seasons. Defensively, we got Jaheim Thomas leading the team in tackles, 82 with 13 TFLs, 5 sacks. Interceptions, he also had, oh my God. What is his stat line? We have like the best quarterback and linebacker in all of college football. And for that should be enough juice to have at least 2 teams slip up and get Cincinnati in the Natty. Our cool QB wasn't even on the short list for the Heisman. Went to Dustin Fletcher of, what is that, Northern Illinois? 56 total touchdowns. Yeah, that's pretty good. And things didn't fall in our favor, man. Stayed at 4, didn't move, didn't go up or down. Renfro got the Remington for best center. That's just, honestly. Kind of want to see what this QB can do. Oh, you're not stopping this. Doesn't have great acceleration, though. At least not great, but his acceleration is like high 70s, low 80s. Doesn't really match the 91 speed, but once he gets going, very tough to stop. Oh, that is an incredibly tight window as we break the school record for passing touchdowns in a season. Slants, cheese, whatever. Since he ties it up, George Sims, an all-time great revamped, rebuild QB. Oh, it's a big gainer to Mills, the tight end. Mike Mills, 31 yards to start off the second quarter, getting right down there deep into Texas territory. And the running back on the read option, they're terrified that Sims is going to keep that ball. All eyes on QB. So 33 takes in the house go-ahead lead for the Bearcats. That's Sim a little bit. We were able to get a touchdown there, go up 21-7. I want to get this into at least the third quarter, then we'll come back and just see if we can continue to assault the Longhorns defense with our great playmakers. Look at that, man. 28-10. Let's get a change of possession. Come back in for one more final drive. Cap this rebuild off. Ooh, okay. mean, it wouldn't be a gameplay if I didn't at least throw one interception. Like one, I mean, that wasn't a terrible. That's a hell of a play by that linebacker. I didn't trust he was going to be good enough. Get that foot down. Does that punish me? A little bit. A little bit, but then we just take the knees, orchestrate a final drive, go out with a bowl game victory, but ultimately a uber successful rebuild here, rebuilding the Cincinnati Bearcats, getting them not only a national title, but what is that, 4 national title appearances? And I mean, what, how many times? Second recruiting class this year. Luke Fickell, C4 have made Cincinnati. All I know is that we ended this rebuild going Ohio State who? Haven't heard Ohio State once. It's been nothing but Cincinnati Bearcats. So that'll do it for this rebuild here, guys. Let me know in the comment section below what school you want to see next. I did pick Cincinnati. You guys were suggesting that. I love that idea. So give me another good school. We will do that in our next College Football Revamped rebuild, which should be out on the weekend. If it's your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Smash the like button if you enjoyed. Leave me a comment. Tell me about your day or how you felt about this video. And I'll see you guys back on the next one. Thanks for watching, and peace out.